It's been a rough stretch for the Arizona Cardinals. Back-to-back non-competitive games after their win against Dallas. Our guest today, Kurt Warner, saw that win, broke it down with us. It's been a long time since we talked to him. We got to get the Hall of Famer on the show, Johnny.
Yeah, plus Drew Petzing spoke to the media today. Does he really think the Cardinals offense is impressive after throwing 57 passes? We're going to ask the Hall of Famer right around the corner. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, #1 in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe, friends. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable, joined as always in Studio K by my co-host, Brack, Kurt Warner, in just a hot minute. Of course, Noah Man behind the mic. Bo, how we living today?
We're living well. Of course, this episode of PHNX Cardinals brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Use the code PHNX365. You bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. Bet365, never ordinary.
We're going to bring him on. Here he is, the Hall of Famer, number 13, Kurt Warner. And Kurt, fired up to have you this season. I wish it was under different circumstances, frankly. We thought we were going to get competitive football. And you've been a part of some teams that have had some struggles, right? Have some rebuilds. And I think what makes this especially frustrating is that this was supposed to be kind of the culmination of a rebuild. It was 3 years of buying into some messaging and trades and acquisitions. Talk to us about, like, you know, your experience, this experience you've had as an analyst, like covering teams where, things just don't go according to plan.
Yeah, I mean, again, so many ways to look at these kinds of things, because again, you can go back and reflect on this season and say, I mean, they've been extremely competitive. I mean, you know, there was a period, they lost 5 straight games by 13 points. And so, you know, there's one way to look at that and go, gosh, I mean, look where we could be. And then obviously there's the other side that you guys are talking about, but it's like, yeah, close just doesn't count though. Like, I mean, you got to find a way to win. You know, being really close doesn't give you a whole lot. And so, you know, I think it can be a tough thing, and it can be a tough thing in the locker room too, because a lot of times you do feel like you're close, and you do feel like you're doing a lot of good things, and then you just step back and go, okay, but why can't we finish these things? Why can't we make the play in the moment? And, you know, again, I could go back to our Super Bowl team in 2008, where, you know, you can make whatever arguments you want. We were not a great football team. If you watched us play all year long, we were not a great football team. And, you know, down the stretch when we were playing really good teams, we were getting blown out of the water. And, you know, but when it came time in the playoffs to play, A, we showed up, but B, our difference-making players made difference-making plays in those games. Like, that was the difference. We weren't dominating, you know, it wasn't like we were going to run away with, you know, with all of our wins. But when we needed that play, we made the play. And that's what took us, you know, on that couple year run where we were so good was, you know, we just had a handful of guys that were really good in the moment. When it came their turn and the ball came towards them, they made the play. And so that to me is so much the difference, especially now in this NFL, because I believe in this NFL, you know, everybody can make a run, you know, differently than maybe 20 years ago when you didn't have the same rules and you didn't have as many penalties called. And so when you fell behind, it was hard to get back into it, you know, or, you know, those kinds of things. So in this NFL, I just feel like, you know, when you get into those close games, it comes down to that handful of players that you have. Do they make the play or do they not? And again, I think sometimes that's who the players are. I think other times it's learning and understanding and believing you're going to make a play. When I was on some of these bad teams, sometimes you just sit back and you wait for something bad to happen. You're like, okay, I'm not going to go and try to do anything. I'm not going to push the envelope. I just don't want to screw it up. And then usually by doing that and playing tentatively, you screw it up, or you don't make the play that comes your way. And then when you're on the other side of the team, it's like, man, I'm going for it. I'm taking my shot. And if I don't make the play, I believe that the defense will come up with their play, and they'll win the game for us. And you start playing with that confidence that you're willing to attack. And again, normally when you're willing to attack, if you're a good player and you're doing it for the right reasons, you're going to make more of those plays than you don't. And, and I kind of feel like that's where this Cardinals team is that it's not a bad football team. They've been very competitive, but they just don't have those guys that in the moment seem to step up and make that play, across the board, anybody to do that. And again, if I go back to our team, we had, 6 or 7 of those guys,
right.
The Carlos Dansbys and the Antrell Rolls and the Qs and the Fitzes and myself. And so we had a number of guys that could do that. When you don't have, very many or any of those guys that seem to be doing that, that's what to me it makes it so hard to win at this level.
Real quick, Bo, it was a really top heavy team. And like I've always talked to like my dad and other people, like there were so many Hall of Famers on that team. And then there were guys that left the Cardinals and really never flourished anywhere else. It was a very unique situation. Whereas I think we look at this Cardinal team and I think we really like the bones of it, the meat of it, but the star power either hasn't developed yet or it's not there. Like Trey McBride, Josh Sweat, like those are few examples of guys. They don't have a Kittle or I guess McCaffrey. They don't have certainly a Stafford, some of these players that are consistently winning at a high level.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. And like you said, I think like a Buda Baker, I think is a great football player. The one difference with like Buda is he doesn't seem to get his hands on a lot of footballs, in terms of kind of changing the complexion of the game with a turnover, type of thing. Again, you go back to, our team in 2008, I think we scored 426 points that year and we gave up 425 points, just speaks to, kind of where we were as a football team. But, if you go into those, those playoff games, man, there was somebody on defense making a big kind of game-changing play, getting their hands on the football and turn it. I think Antrell Rolls scored a touchdown off of a fumble in our game against Atlanta, the first game we played that year. You think about that big game against the Packers the next year in the wild card. Carlos Dansby, gets his hands on a couple balls early in the game to turn it back. Like you just could count on that in those games. Even if we weren't a dominating defense, I could count on them to make a play or two that would be a game-changing play to go along with, with what we could do offensively. And so that to me is kind of the difference. I thought James Conner was one of those guys for this football team. Like when you needed to finish a game and when you needed a big run and then, those circumstances, give it to that guy and he was going to make a play for you. Trey, I think he's one of those guys too. Like give him a shot and he's going to make a play for you. I just don't know if there's enough of those guys that have, stepped into that confidence or that belief that they will be that guy on this football team.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed. It feels like the Cardinals, last time we spoke with you, thought they might be turning the corner. You had just called the game Monday Night Football in Dallas. Walter Nolan entered the lineup. They were getting a lot of disruption up front. Since then, Seahawks, really good team. Niners, also good team. They've had some lopsided performances. What has changed in your opinion? Is this just kind of a blip? Is this just a little bit of a slump? Or have the Cardinals been a little bit exposed and they're going to have to adjust to avoid any more kind of lopsided affairs?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably more about the opponent than it's about, the Cardinals. And again, I think, what we probably can all agree on is that the Cardinals aren't a great football team right now. And so when they're playing against these really good football teams, it looks a little bit more lopsided. And again, to me, this is all part of, learning how to win as a group. First it's, learning how to finish games. Then it's becoming that team that beats the teams you're supposed to beat. Even if you're not in the caliber of the better teams in the league, there's certain teams that you go, okay, this is one of those games that, if we're going to be a good team, we've got to win these games. And then it's proving to yourself that you belong with the top teams and you can compete with the best teams in the league. And so, there's kind of a ladder that you climb in terms of, becoming one of those teams and becoming a team that believes you're going to win every time out. It's some stepping stones there instead of just, hey, one year you just show up and you can beat and compete with everybody. That's not the way it works. But it's taking those steps, those gradual steps. And, I think, so your guys' point, what I think we all felt about the Cardinals this year was they had built a team and they had some veteran guys that they were supposed to win certain games, right? They were supposed to beat certain teams. Not that we were sure they were ready to compete with the best, but that they were supposed to beat certain teams and show that they were above average, team at this stage. And I think that's where, this team, in my opinion, has fallen short.
Kurt, I'm going to ask you kind of an unconventional question because we've had this conversation, Bo and I have, over the last 24 to 48 hours. And it sure seems like, barring just a bunch of lopsided defeats, Jonathan Gannon is going to remain the head coach of this team entering 2026. And he does not have a winning record, does not have a winning season. It'll be his fourth year next year. And, there are some that are very critical of that decision. Then there are others that applaud Michael Bidwill and the patience, whereas maybe historically this franchise, other franchises are quick to run through coaches. Do you think the Cardinals could benefit from giving Jonathan Gannon another year? And do you think there's a problem in the NFL with running through coaches too quickly?
Always, especially when they're a first-time coach. Because I think we all have to go through a learning curve. And as much as we want, it's like when we draft someone high in the draft and we expect them to come in as a finished product. It doesn't work like that. There's a process that they have to go through. When you hire a first-time head coach, and I don't know what the time period is, 3 years, 4 years before you can truly tell what a player or a coach is going to be, what you can hang your hat on and if they're the right guy. But I feel like there has to be, at least 3 years for you to go, okay, this is what we think we have. And then we can ask the question, do we think what we have is good enough moving forward? But I think we all felt this was, this has been moving in the right direction, and you liked what they were doing, and you like the way that Coach Gannon leads the team. Like, I feel very comfortable with from where he started to where he's at now, that he's growing into this position, and has handled it well. But again, it's got to couple with putting the right team on the field, and then leading to wins and finding ways to get your guys, to that next level, whether that's getting the right guys in because you don't have the right guys in,
right,
or doing your part to help these guys learn how to finish and how to take that next step, in the process. And so, again, when I came here, this organization was in a certain place and nobody expected to win. And a lot of people, will look at my first couple of years here in Arizona and was like, oh, those are lost years. Kurt was, terrible in those years, and, that sort of stuff. And I get it. And I understand why. But what they don't understand is how hard that process is to get an organization and to get people to believe and to get people to invest in what it takes to be successful at this level. And so, you're going to go through some growing pains, and you're going to go through some of those hard times where, it just doesn't look good. And you wonder, okay, are we making any progress? And then you bring in a piece here and you bring in a piece there, or, shared stories with you guys about Larry Fitzgerald, kind of what his mindset was when I got here. And then obviously what his mindset became and what his mindset was when he left were completely different as he grew and as he developed and as he saw how, this thing has to be done at this level if you want to be consistently really, really good and competitive. And so, yeah, I think patience is so important. As I said, especially with guys that are stepping into a spot for the first time, is you have to, give them a chance. And as long as you're seeing that growth, that to me is the most important thing. When it gets stagnant and it stops and you don't see that anymore, and you go, okay, this is what we think our limit is with this guy. That's when, to me, you step back and go, okay, is it time to move forward, or do we think we have enough there, to take that step forward, I guess, with them in the organization.
It just seems like they're in the storm right now, this team.
Yep.
They're just trying to really kind of find their way out of it, to use some similarities again with that 08 team. Like, you guys had that horrific game against the Jets. It was back-to-back losses. It was brutal. Like, I think it was 34-0 before half. They go down 35-0 to the Seahawks. And they have this game against the Niners. You guys were able to win the next game. Like, you go up against the Bills, and you like, how do you pick yourself up in the face of this adversity? Probably the most adversity some of these guys have ever faced. We're talking about a young coaching staff that maybe hasn't been down this road before. Like, where do you even start?
Well, I mean, I think you start by hanging on to the good things that you're doing. And I think you can pull a lot of good things, from what we saw. I mean, even if you look at the 49er game yesterday, I mean, there was a lot of good things that their offense did, and what are 17 penalties or whatever. Well, those are the things that, they get things going haywire very quickly. And then I think the other thing is you focus on making sure that you start fast, because again, things can spiral really quickly when you don't have a great football team or a great mindset as a football team, and you've been losing a lot of games, that things go against you early and then they get out of hand. If you can start fast and be competitive early, that just breeds confidence within your team. And again, as we're taking this process, right? When you've got a team that's already won and been successful, that doesn't apply as much. You expect a certain standard all the time. But when you're a team that's learning how to win, it's important that you start fast and you get things going early, and you focus on the positive things that you can do, and you take that and run towards the next week, believing that, hey, if we do this, it'll lead to a win. And then just like, one win can lead to another win, as opposed to one loss can lead to another loss. And so that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to stack it. And again, throw the analogy out, in 07. I remember that year, we were up and down and trying to figure it out, but we won our last two games of that season. And I felt like, those back-to-back wins at the end of 07 gave us so much momentum and confidence moving forward that we believed differently about our team going into 08. And, so I think trying to stack some things here down the stretch and get a couple, really good wins under their belt, or, maybe you have a winning record here, from this point forward. And those are the things you hang on to and grab a hold of. And then, you try to use that to catapult you forward the next year. So instead of losing these games, you're believing and you're winning these games early in the season. And now things start to turn in that opposite direction.
Kurt, we had you on about a month ago talking hypotheticals with Kyler Murray in the offseason. We fast forward to now, and those appear to be, at least in the speculation of reality, as Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport feel like a divorce could be imminent with the once upon a time first overall pick. How difficult of a situation is this for the Cardinals to navigate, given the fact that, wasn't drafted by this regime? He's on injured reserve now. He clearly probably will have a market this offseason, but as Bo and I talk on the regular here, you trade Kyler Murray, what does that leave you in your quarterback room? Like, how sensitive of a situation is this to navigate for a regime that looks like is going to get at least one more year?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many ways to look at it.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, no matter where you sit, I think the question always has to come back to, do we believe Kyler is the guy that can lead us to the next level, can help us take the next step? That to me is the whole question. And as a regime or as an organ, you have to answer that question. Like, you might want him to be, but do you truly believe that he is? Or you might truly believe that he is, and it's just about, circumstances and what's happened. But that's the question that you have to answer. And I don't know if I've used this analogy on this show with you guys, but, I think back to the Cincinnati Bengals when, they were just a losing franchise. I remember back in 1999 when we played Cincinnati, the third game of the year when I was with the Rams, and the headline was, this is the losingest team. Whoever loses this game will be the losingest team of the 90s. So that's where that organization has been. Then they got Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton made them a perennial winner. They would win their division. They would get to the playoffs every year, but they would never be able to take the next step from that. Andy was good, and he was great for the organization, and he gave them what they needed at that time, but he was limited. And the organization finally realized, like, man, Andy was great, and he did what we needed him to do to change that culture. But Andy's not getting us to that next step. He's not taking us there. So they let Andy Dalton go, who was a really, really good starting quarterback in the league, and they went out and got Joe Burrow. And they went and got Joe Burrow because they said, that's the guy that can take us to the next step. And he has. Obviously, we know all the issues with the injury, but just in and of itself, playing football, he has taken them to the next step and got them to a Super Bowl. And so those are the tough decisions that sometimes you have to make. And it's not to say that Kyler's not a really good quarterback. It's not to say that Kyler's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. The question is he what you guys, your organization needs to take you where you believe you can go? And that's the question that, again, I can't answer. Where is the team right now? What do we need from that position? Because we've seen it. We've seen him play at an MVP type level. It just hasn't been as consistent as you would like it to be at the quarterback spot. So that, to me, becomes the question that the Cardinals are going to have to ask, and this regime is going to have to ask when it comes to Kyler Murray. Not is he good? Can he play at an MVP type level for period? Like, no, those questions have been answered. But is he the right guy to lead us where we want to go and have to go as a regime? And that, to me, ultimately has to be, where you fall on either side of the line. Yes, he's that guy. Then you bring him back. Like, if you believe it's because of other reasons, you bring him back. And then if he's not, then as tough as it may be, you have to move a different direction and then figure out, to your point, okay, where does that leave us? Yeah. Where are we and what position are we in? Do we go out and sign somebody? Do we keep a Jacoby Brissett that we believe can kind of keep the seat warm until we get that position and can go get our Joe Burrow if that's the direction that they choose to go? And that's not an easy situation either, because you guys know as well as I do. We oftentimes have a struggle finding 32 starting quarterbacks in the league. So when there's not that many of them out there, and you take a guy and say, we're going to let one of those guys go in hopes of getting another one that's higher in the hierarchy of the 32. We've seen a lot of teams do that too, and they go 10 and 15 years searching and grabbing and pulling and trying to find it. And they can't find it either because, quite frankly, there's just not a lot of Joe Burrows out there. There's not a lot of those elite guys out there. But, you have to weigh how all of that, changes or affects your organization moving forward. And again, I don't envy those positions because it is an inexact science when it comes to the quarterback position. And there's no guarantee if you get rid of a good one that you get a great one.
There's no Super Bowl MVP caliber guy that's going to come your way again and save your organization. That's unfortunate. That doesn't happen every offseason, but
we're due for that.
Yeah. It muddies up my question though, Kurt, because I wanted to ask you, like, as far as what you've seen, because you've done so many great QB confidentials on Kyler, breaking down the film, and just what your thought would be, what scheme Kyler would fit in best. But like, even if that's the case, if you find the best scheme based off what you've told us several times about the inconsistencies, even with the right scheme fit, could that bring consistency? What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could answer that. I think,
Yeah.
that's one of those questions that's really hard to answer unless you're around a guy every day and you really know what they do well, and like watching in practice, what he would do consistently well, at the quarterback position. And then I could ask the question, okay, these are the things that he's great at and that I could count on every single week. Can we build a scheme around that? Can we do something where we can use those skills each and be built that way? Because like to me, just being, the incredible athlete that he is and, the incredible playmaking that he gives you, that's awesome. But I always sit back and go, okay, but how do I truly take that and utilize that in a weekly game plan? Like what are those things that you can do? And, of course there's certain things with naked bootlegs and zone reads and things like that. But normally I look at those things and go, but I don't know if I can build a game plan around that and win every week against good teams, just adding those few elements in. And so again, that's just one example with the athletic part of it. And so I am a firm believer that even with the great athletic quarterbacks we have in our business now, that the best of those are the ones that play within scheme and structure in the pocket first, and then bring the extra after that. And so that would be the question that, that I would have to answer with Kyler is, okay, what are those things scheme wise and in structure that he does really, really well? And, if I take, whatever, percentage that is, along with, being able to bring his athleticism into it and that percentage, does that get me to a high enough percentage, where I can build a scheme and say, yeah, if we've got to go in and run, 70 plays this week, I have got a scheme that I feel 100% comfortable with, that Kyler can execute all 70 of those plays at an extremely high level. Because once you start getting away from that and go, okay, I feel good with, 50% of them, or I feel good with 60% of them, that's where we're starting to take a dip. Mm-hmm. And so, just to answer your question, I just don't know. I'd have to see him every day and see what plays he loves and what throws he consistently makes or reads he consistently makes, and then go, oh gosh, yeah, there's plenty here for us to build a scheme and build an offense around, his incredible skill set.
Fair enough. I saw after Jacoby's NFL record 47 completions the other day, I looked up what your highest was, 40. You guys had the same amount of attempts, 57. What's it like just dropping back and throwing it, ripping it that much in an NFL game?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends on the situation. Like if you're in a competitive situation, so the game is competitive, it's a blast. I mean, you guys remember I played arena football, so we never handed it off. And so every time it was a pass. And so it was awesome. It was backyard football, and, and games were decided by your right arm. In a competitive situation in the NFL, it's awesome too, because you just know, man, I get a say in all of this. Like what happens is because of, me throwing the football. When you're down in a game, it's not quite as much fun. I mean, you love winging it around, but it's like, everybody makes a huge deal of every mistake, which you get it, right? Because it's a close game. But it's like, dude threw 57 times. Like he's going to make a mistake. And he didn't make very many of them. I mean, 10 incompletions and 57 pass attempts is just stupid. Like, that's ridiculous. But of course there's going to be an interception or two. There's going to be a missed throw that happens and goes into the defender's hands. So again, a lot of it just depends on that. But I mean, he played awesome. And I actually love the scheme that they play. I tweeted today just about, this idea of the 5-out situations. I was a big proponent of getting the running back out free and putting pressure on the defense and getting in empty sets. And I thought the Cardinals utilized that extremely well. I mean, I thought San Francisco did too, but I thought the Cardinals utilized that really, really well and had a bunch of good scheme things that I really liked. And Jacoby, Jacoby was all over it. And so it was just tough because he's down in the game. And I mean, I couldn't believe it when my son texted me and he's like, he went 47 of 57. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm looking up the score. I'm like, oh my gosh, this must've come down to the wire. 10 incompletions out of 57, you know, and then I see the penalties, and then I see they lost by 20, and I'm like, how does that even happen? Like, you know, so when I was watching the tape, I'm trying to look and gauge, okay, did every incompletion come on third down? Like, what happened in this game that you can do that and get beat the way that they did? It's hard to believe, because he played an excellent football game, and I really liked a lot of what they did. Playmakers, guys making plays all over the place. But yeah, I mean, it's not fun in a game like that. Like, you'd love to come out of that going, I threw for 450 yards and I completed an NFL record, and I had 83% completions out of 57 attempts. Like, all this stuff is mind blowing. But you know, what does it mean at the end of the day when when you're not even really competitive in the game?
Yeah, he said he could care less. I mean, obviously it's the right thing to say, be humble, especially after, taking a loss. But you got sacked 5 times in that game. He didn't get sacked once. He certainly took his hits. So a little bit, which is also astounding.
It was. I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole thing, it was just, because that's all I could think when I was watching the tape is like, where did his incompletions come from? Like, what? A couple of them were drops, a couple of them were tipped on top of it. And I mean, you're just like, I thought he played an excellent football game. Again, it's almost hard to, if you're just watching the tape, to even believe that it wasn't a close football game either. But yeah, there were definitely times where it's like, oh man, great play. And then all of a sudden you flip on the next one and it's 3rd and 20, they're moving back 10 yards. And so just all the, the setbacks that they had in that game, unfortunately, they couldn't make it more competitive, because he played awesome.
We're going to see if Jacoby can force the issue like you did at the end of the 2007 season. We got 7 games to go. We're going to chat with Kurt Warner the rest of the season. Kurt, safe travels this week. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Unbelievable stuff from Kurt Warner. We're going to break down a lot of what he just talked about. Plus, we're going to get into what we heard from the Cardinals offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing. He talked about Brissett and more. It's all coming up next. PHNX Cards.
Fired up about our partnership with Kurt Warner that we hope to keep going for years to come. I'm going to tell you about a partnership I'm fired up about every single day. Is our partnership with Circle K. How about it? Become a member of the Inner Circle today. $3, $4, and $5 meal deals. They also have the buy 2 get 1 free Coke, Sprite, Dr. Pepper 12 packs. Hello. In this economy, I like anything free. Free 99, baby. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations, Bo. Visit CircleK.com for more details. I'm going to tell you what one of my favorite things at Circle K is. They have the $1 cookies that you just kind of grab and go. Unfortunately, I do have to pay the $1. Sometimes I try to sneak out, which is otherwise known as stealing. But it's just $1. It's just $1.
Yeah, man. Johnny's gonna be arrested. He's gonna go to jail for cookie theft. Not a great look for my co-host, but look, Circle K, it's elite. I'm a member of the Inner Circle. You should be too as well. Here's more good ways to save money. Game Time. You want to go see an event? You want to go see a game? Game Time is the only way and only place you should look for your tickets, your future tickets, because Game Time, they're going to give you the best prices guaranteed to whatever event you may be seeking out. And you can save even more just from the jump by being a listener or viewer of PHNX. Use the code PHNX at checkout of your first purchase. You're going to get $20 off of that. So download the Game Time app today, get signed up, and then, of course, buy your first set of tickets, and you'll save money just by watching and listening to PHNX. You want to go see the NBA Cup? Oh, man, such intensity on the hardwood, the NBA Cup. Everybody, you just can remember back like, oh, watching the NBA Cup. It's been so amazing. You can go watch one live. How about the T-Wolves Suns? You can get in the door for $31 and see that weird-ass court. Do it with Game Time. And be like Johnny and go get the last call tonight to go see Billie Eilish. Go do it. Game Time's going to get you. Or download it, use the code PHNX. What time is it? It's Game Time.
You'd be surprised to know, Sabrina Carpenter, yes. Ariana Grande, yes. Not a huge Billie Eilish fan. My wife's a fan. I just don't. Her songs they're not enough upbeat classic, pop for your boy. So
you're a bad guy.
Chaperone, yes. No, Billie Eilish. There's just not enough going on there. I feel like it's like elevator music.
True artist. You wouldn't know one.
That's fine.
You're a great artist, analyst, expert, Hall of Famer.
Running back.
Let's get out to you.
with Kurt just now.
Yeah.
The fact that I think, we all kind of know like the task at hand for this team to trade Kyler and like what the F are you going to do after you do that?
Mhm.
Like we're going to spend on this show months and months breaking down potential trade partners, and then they're going to do it probably. And then we're going to turn around and be like, okay, so now what? You got a third round pick. We've seen how the Cardinals operate with third rounders. Could be a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah. So my takeaway from Kurt is like, and I'm not surprised, and he would be authentic with us. Like he believes Gannon should get another year.
Mhm.
I got a text message from somebody earlier today, and this is me shilling it up, saying like, are we sure this wasn't a 5-year rebuild? Not like tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Like how many, now I'm going to get off on a tangent here, but I'm going to ask you a question. Then I want your takeaways from Kurt. Like how many recent situation scenarios mirror the Cardinals situation in 2023? Like I honestly don't know. Like I think I can compare it to like, remember the year the Browns like went winless, and then the next year they won like 2 games and had the first pick again. Like that's what that Cardinals roster reminded me of. So I'm not happy about this season. I won't argue if they fire everybody. Like I'm not going to come on here and make a stink about it. But I also I went back today and I looked at that 2023 roster and I looked at the end of 2022. That has to be the worst roster of my adult life, especially like you lose Zach Allen, Byron Murphy. Like they had no players.
Right. Yeah. Like JJ Watt retires and you lose your 2 arguably best players via free agency.
It was their fault. They could have
you let them walk, and you're kind of the cupboard was basically bare as far as the offensive side of the football. Your
quarterback tore his ACL.
Tore his ACL. He had a 30-plus-year-old Zach Ertz, who I know has found a little bit of the fountain youth there in D.C. And you had Trey McBride, where it was a little bit of malpractice as far as developing the second-round pick. No, I mean, it's not unprecedented. I don't want it to say like it's any different than any rebuild. Like we've seen some teams, we've seen some like year in and year out. There's teams that are devoid of talent, and then they're tasked with rebuilding it. Now, how they approach rebuilding it,
right.
I think that's where it varies with the Arizona Cardinals, because they are very much in what they've been transparent about. We're going to draft and develop. That's where our talent's going to come, and then we're going to extend and keep those players within the organization. And then they realize, like we do, like, and Gannon said this in an introductory press conference, don't get it mixed up or don't get it wrong. We will win games. It's just like, those are just happen too few and far between, like, because you see the talent that already exists on this roster. And I think that's where the biggest point of frustration is. Like you see the talent on this roster, you see the landscape of the league, and it's like, they should be more competitive in this. Like they shouldn't, say they shouldn't beat the Seahawks this year, but they should at least be in those games. And the last 2 weeks, that's where I think people have kind of thrown their hands up and said, what's going on here? Like that's the thing, that these non-competitive games, those are the biggest kind of red flags and things that will take a fan base and make them kind of question everything and lose belief.
Yeah. And like, I agree. Like people are like, this is a hopeless situation. It is not, because, and we're going to break down in the next segment, like the talent is significant. They don't have developed like superstars yet, as we discussed with Kurt, but like the talent is night and day. And like, that's what happens by default. You trade down in the first round, you recoup an extra first and some thirds. Like they have had taken their medicine, and they're going to add another top 10 pick this year, barring something unforeseen. I just like, I look at the Titans this year, like Titans could have back-to-back first overall picks. Like there are situations that mirror this, and those teams are bad for a while. And again, the biggest caveat that we always have to just kind of make sure we keep under, happenstance. They play in the toughest division in the NFL. I would rather play in a division with like multiple high-level quarterbacks than executives and head coaches that never leave. That never go anywhere. Like Sean McVay is going to be the Rams coach for 20 years. Kyle Shanahan, like that is the biggest hurdle, as we've seen, for this organization to overcome. Like, so maybe we're not like, I'm not making excuses. I am trying to rationalize how they can bring back this regime and make it make sense in my mind because they are so steadfast on doing that.
Yeah.
And again, like you're going to lose people, Bo, as you mentioned, with the blowouts, 100%. With the non-competitives, the Titans loss, like those are non-starters for people.
Yeah.
But I also know, like, whether it's this year or next year, Jonathan Gannon or Robert Saleh or whomever, like the NFC West is still going to be the NFC West.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the most important. That's the biggest key here is like if you're going to Andy Dufresne it, Shawshank, and you're going to, break out and you're going to sludge through a river of crap, little crap in the sewer, you got to come out on the other side. There's got to be a payoff. You have to reward your fan base with a payoff. And like you can appreciate the patience and the conviction. But right now, it just seems, especially like the rest of the season, it seems bleak. It seems daunting. And what Kurt said is like, hey, the previous season before we went on that run, we won back-to-back games. And it was under a radar. Probably the fan base didn't give a crap at that time.
I cared. I was watching. I cared.
Little young, impressionable Johnny Venerable. Actually, not that young. He was probably college age. Doing
8-8.
horrible things. Yeah. But like they have to have good performances have to happen this season. You can't just say, you can't be devoid of that. And then that there has to be a payoff in the near future. I'm talking like this offseason and make some moves that are going to make people start to buy back in.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to come around the break. We got a banner segment for you. I'm going to pretend to be Drew Petzing again. Plus, Bo and I are going to go through Monti Ossenfort's resume. Is Monti Ossenfort escaping blame undeservingly on the Cardinals' disaster of a season? We're going to break down free agents, drafts, otherwise, and while the heat maybe should be applied or not to Monti Ossenfort, that's coming up. A banner segment. You're not going to want to miss it on PHNX.
Some light listening.
Some very, yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what's light. Not my wallet because I got all the monies because I'm shopping at Mack Weldon, baby. Listen, Mack Weldon. I am looking consistently for clothing for adult men. Like I'm done with the graphic tees. I'm done with the little boy section. Like where can I be an adult with adult clothes that feel comfortable, that I can walk in, exercise in, go out to brunch in? Like I'm 37 years old. It's about time. And thankfully, Mack Weldon, they put out the bat signal and they said, Johnny, come, we'll take care of you. It's time to get away from the band graphic tees and the Marvel shirts. It's like, okay, time to be a big boy. Here's some collared shirts. Here's some crew cut shirts. Here's some long sleeves, right? And suddenly I'm feeling great about my attire, and you can too. Check them out, MackWeldon.com, the go-to choice for guys who want to look great without even trying. Mack Weldon clothes are designed to fit your style in the demands of modern life, whether you're going to PTA meeting, whether you're going to a business meeting, you're out with buddies, or you're going to holiday church, whatever. They look like regular clothes, but they feel with the most modern comfort imaginable. I mean, we all had those long sleeves growing up, and it was like, I feel like I'm overheating in here. My body's itching. Like, no, that's not what Mack Weldon does. Check them out right now. Fall into comfort with Mack Weldon's Ace collection. Go to MackWeldon.com. Get 20% off your first order. Again, 25%, I'll bump it up 5% of $125 or more with the bonus code PHNX. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code PHNX.
Nothing says I'm ready for grown-up style like a backwards hat and looking like a paper boy on camera.
Hey,
look, I don't disagree.
Kurt had a hat on.
Also, their skivvies, their underoos, great stocking stuffers, great gifts, anything from Mack Weldon, but nothing's going to top the top stocking stuffer, the Arizona Lottery, and their holiday scratchers, which are here for you. The holiday tickets from Arizona Lottery. You have a chance to fill your stockings with cash, white elephant gifts, whatever it may be. Started to maybe get a cold sweat because you realize, oh, we've only got how many shopping days till Christmas? Not enough, right? You better load up on holiday scratchers from Arizona Lottery, because when it comes to holiday gifts, holiday scratchers are the best place to start. Just start checking boxes on your list. They're made for gifting, whether it's the elephant exchange, stocking stuffer, just because there's always a chance your little gift could be worth millions. That's right. Love and play and spread holiday cheer with holiday scratchers from Arizona Lottery. Play and gift today.
Just like yesterday with Jonathan Gannon's presser, Drew Petzing met with the Phoenix media, including my co-host Bo Brack, and said something that pissed off this fan base, and it got ratioed into oblivion on PHNX Cardinals, Bo. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to intro the clip, then we'll come back, and I'll tell you what Drew Petzing probably should have said.
Wow, okay, can't wait. So I think what Johnny's referencing here, Noah, is actually going to be, we talked to Kurt about Jacoby's performance, but what we wanted to hear from Drew Petzing as far as what he's seen from Jacoby Brissett after really racking up some stats in garbage time.
Yeah, I think it's been very impressive. I mean, I think he completed, 82% of his passes, NFL record 47 completions. Anytime you're doing that at the quarterback position, you're doing a lot of things really well. And that's not just him. That's protection. That's guys getting open and making tough catches, winning one-on-ones. Chemistry, reps, confidence, decision-making. I think it all plays a major role because I don't think he's doing that if protection's not holding up. I don't think he's not doing that if guys aren't getting open and making plays. So I think it speaks to everybody in that room and all parties involved.
The way Drew Petzing speaks about Jacoby Brissett there, and it is kind of funny, like the way Kurt Warner spoke about it, it's pretty similar, right? Kurt was very impressed by Jacoby Brissett's performance on Sunday, but like the way you hear Drew talk about it 48 hours after the bludgeoning that they received, it's just like you would have thought that they were in that game from start to finish, like that, they had played the perfect game offensively, and then you look at the box score when their points were scored and when they weren't. Like they have like 10 points going into the fourth quarter?
Correct. It was 35-10. The Cardinals were non-competitive. Jacoby had thrown 2 interceptions at that time. But yeah, sign me up for that. Like, I think this is the biggest fear for Cardinal fans. Like Jacoby Brissett at the end of the year, like if he's going to have like 20 plus touchdowns and like 3,500 yards, and it's on paper, it's going to be like, oh yeah, Jacoby Brissett could definitely be a bridge guy. And like, maybe he could, but like, then you see Sunday's game and it's like, no, I don't want to do that. What are we doing? This team, like, come on, guys. And maybe you get Jacoby a running game and the defense plays better. Sure. Like could Jacoby Brissett like be a playoff leading quarterback in the right scenario? Maybe.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to play like, look at Jacoby Brissett's stats in January. This is the guy. I think that Sunday is a perfect example of why we can't do that.
Yeah. And I do want to get maybe how you should have approached it. And so far you've got a pretty high batting average as far as what he should have said in the press conference. But this is why I really I agree with a lot of people who are kind of like rolling their eyes at that, to where like we said, 10 points going in the fourth quarter. This game was not competitive from the jump. And it's like you're waxing poetic about quarterback play and protection and guys getting open. It's like you would have thought you were watching Kurt Warner in The Greatest Show on Turf, or Kurt Warner throw to 3,000-yard receivers in the Cardinals offense. That's not what it was. And like, it'd be one thing to say, yeah, Jacoby put up some numbers, and we're glad to see the fight didn't stop until the final whistle. But there's a lot we got to clean up. We've had multiple turnovers in back-to-back games that have really kind of put us behind it. So like that's why I disagree with like putting that out there for 30 seconds in a soundbite. And that's not everything. It's coach speak, but it's still like it doesn't match the eye test. It doesn't match what I think the tone should be from this coaching staff.
It is tone deaf. It is the definition of tone deaf. All right, you want to do this? You want to fire questions at me?
Yeah.
That's what Drew Petzing said, which has not been well received. Yeah. I mean, like anytime Cardinal fans see like, hey, this is impressive, and it's about their team right now, people are going to be like, incorrect, false. All right.
Right.
Go ahead, Mr. Bolbrock, reporter. Yeah. Let's do it.
Drew, Jacoby Brissett's in an NFL record 47 completions. What have you seen from the quarterback's play?
I'm excited for Jacoby that he's gotten this opportunity. He deserves it, but at the same time, like our game plan should never look like throwing the football 57 times in a game. I know Jacoby is more than capable. We got to do a better job supporting him with a competent run game to extend drives. We have to do a better job not making him so susceptible to pressure. We only had, I think, over the course of the second and third quarter, Bo, one scoring drive in the form of a field goal. We had a punt, interception in the money quarters of this game. Unfortunately, when it was a one possession game, and it just, statistics are only as good as, the final product. So I would rather throw it 10 to 15 times if it meant we got the win.
Well, thanks, Drew. What about the 17 penalties?
Unforced errors, 100% on us. We have to do a better job coaching. I know that staff has a reputation of throwing the flag a lot, but here's what I'll say. It didn't seem to bother San Francisco, which points to us. It's an us problem. It's something that we're not typically known for. And this year it's been embarrassing. It's cost us games. And on Sunday, it kept us non-competitive. And right now, I really like the players that we have in the lineup. So it's a reflection of what we're doing Monday through Saturday. It's not good enough.
What'd you think about that? What went into that second and goal RPO call with your 32-year-old animal quarterback?
It was a bad call. It was a bad call. I take ownership of it 100%. Should never have put Jacoby Brissett in that position. Jacoby is sneaky fast. He's capable, but that should never be a scenario in which, that's one of our go-to plays. I also want to apologize for the Michael Carter direct snap on the 2-point conversion. Not a great play call on my end. And I have a third apology today. The Jacoby Brissett QB sneak on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was so quick to get away from that in recent weeks. So all in all, we scored 22 points and our quarterback threw the ball 57 times. It's a byproduct of me not doing my job. And, I just ask for fans just to stick with us here over the course of the next 7 weeks, and we'll do what we can to correct it.
Wow. You're a big man for even bringing up, plays we didn't bring to your attention. You're just
got a list of things I hated from myself.
Well, you should be your one's only is the biggest critic. So, wow, really blown away. Drew Petzing.
You want to ask me about the fact that Michael Wilson's been on this team for 3 years and has had minimal opportunities until Sunday and suddenly looks like a very capable wide receiver. Let me come out by saying I have a full apology to Michael Wilson and his beautiful family that I have stymied your development to the point where you have now produced a 185-yard receiving game, the number one receiving game in the NFL. I've started my handwritten apology, Bo, to Michael Wilson. So we'll do our best to make sure he has more than 2 targets next week.
If you actually knew how to call plays, we might actually try to get you as the next offensive coordinator of this team. But you can't even
sub in. I can
word is you blew it as far as a play caller in your kids' championship game a year ago.
Don't bring that up. I'm still not over that. Stop it. We got a kid who's about 4'5", throw the worst pick six you've ever seen. I have nightmares about it. I wake up in a cold sweat. Don't talk to me about it.
Well, we got one more break and more sound bites from the coaching staff. It's all coming up next. PHNX Cardinals.
Hit that like button for our friends at Rally House. So I was doing a little holiday shopping, as I do at this time of year, trying to be proactive, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people call me Young Santa. And I was checking out the rivalry jerseys for my son for the holiday season. And I'm like, not only do I need a rivalry jersey for my son for Christmas, I also need my youngest, my 6-year-old. She wants to rep a Cardinal jersey. And unfortunately, the David Johnson, toddler jersey is too small. That's been passed down in the Venerable house. So I think we're going to go with a couple of 85s, which is a safe bet these days, as is a safe bet to go to Rally House, one of their 3 locations, Tempe, Mesa, Glendale. And, of course, check them out right now for all your jersey needs, hats, jerseys, drinkware, signage, coolers, whatever you want. It's going down at Rally House. Every time you visit a Rally House, you're guaranteed to find something new, unique, and matches your game day vibe. Find your local Rally House nearest to you and shop their entire product assortment online, rallyhouse.com, Bo.
I don't know. I think you're making a mistake. I think you need to get your sweet, innocent daughter like a 97 or like a Paris Johnson Jr. Just one of the big guys.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. Look, if you're looking to save money, especially this season, maybe reallocate towards gifts. Do it with our friends over at APS. They've got you in mind with the smart thermostats starting as low as $0. If you're looking for a reason to save energy and money, APS can help you with that. When they upgrade you to a smart thermostat, you can cut costs year after year, season after season. APS customers can get new smart thermostat from as low as $0 at aps.com/sale. Shipping, taxes not included. Other restrictions apply, but unbelievable. Not going to get a better deal than a free smart thermostat, which you can link up with your smartphone and you're controlling your heating, your cooling right from your phone. So it's great in cold season, especially when the heat temperatures start to rack up here in the valley and you're really trying to cut some energy costs. Do it with APS. Let them help you while you're entertaining family. Get the temperature dialed in at your house with that smart thermostat. Go to the website, aps.com/sale, and learn how you can get a new smart thermostat as low as $0.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. Are you going to subject us to more coordinator talk today? It's like these coordinator talks are a little bit anti-productive. They're a little bit rage baity, but I'm here for them. What else do we have?
We did ask Drew Petzing about all the penalties.
Yeah, those can't happen. That's a lack of detail, lack of focus to me. So ultimately, that's going to come back on me. So something I got to harp on in the meeting that I'm going to continue to harp on. We got to get out of the huddle. We got to get set. You can the post snap penalties. You never want them, but inevitably they happen. The pre snap penalties cannot.
I mean, there's
better
accountability. I mean, what are you going to say? I was really impressed with the penalties. Like we can't glaze over everything. I liked his answer more than JG's, where he's like, "Yeah, that crew throws a lot of flags." It's like, I mean, maybe to one side.
And then we talked to Nick Rallis today about asking about Walter Nolan. I thought this was a nice little bite.
The pocket is effective whether it hits the stat sheet or not. He rushes with such high motor and just relentlessness to the quarterback that I would even say like on Sweaty sack, Walt was a big part of that. To flush him out high as opposed to being able to step up. So when Sweaty cornered, Brack was right there. So, it's those type of plays. And then in the run game, honestly, plays strong, plays violent. The one thing that really stands out to me, I think I've said this before, is just motor and violence with him. He plays a certain way, and we knew that, and he's doing it right now.
I'm going to be positive for a second.
Yeah.
The defensive line played well. Not great, but they have something going up front now that this will be his fourth game. Walter Nolan, by the way, is an 80+ grade via PFF. He's a real deal. Like he needs more time, needs more seasoning. Sweat's the real deal. He's going to have double-digit sacks. And then I encourage everybody to check it out. K1 since day one, good follow on Twitter, broke down Darius's film. And Darius showed some life against the 49ers. His PFF grade didn't reflect that, unfortunately. But, if you can get those three guys going, you got something to build on. And I think that that's probably one of the reasons why, assuming that trends in the right direction, you would try to keep some continuity with those guys, especially somebody like Darius.
Mm-hmm.
Darius losing Rallis and Gannon, I think, would hurt his production. Whereas, I think Walter can excel with anybody. Sweat obviously needs Gannon to be able to produce. So everybody was saying we're a little too negative recently. That's a positive right now for this team. Defensive line looks good.
Yeah, and the very little pressure that they got against Seattle, the guy that was getting it was Walter Nolan. And to hear that he's opening up opportunities for Sweaty J and other pass rushers, that's good. They're going to have to really show up on Sunday against Jacksonville. Another quarterback that's susceptible in the face of pressure to make mistakes and can really kind of wreck up and blow up a game plan. Just listen to the Kurt talk. This team is in such need of a fast start.
Mm-hmm.
The last two games, they have been down, chasing points from the jump. It's
can't do that with Jacoby.
Yeah, the wonders, it would just do wonders for this team to come out of the gates, get a stop, maybe force a turnover, and then get on the board first. I think that would just get them in such a better mindset and better spot to find success in way more competitive performance this Sunday.
Make Trevor Lawrence one-dimensional has to be a recipe, and their passing game has not been great this year. They want to jump on you with a lead, run the football, and play good defense, coincidentally.
You were telling me Trevor Lawrence's numbers in a full season worth of games is pretty comparable to Jacoby Brissett in 5 games, right?
Yeah. So Trevor Lawrence, and I'll check it right now, I think has only 11 passing touchdowns. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence has 11 passing touchdowns, 8 picks, and 2,100 yards. Okay, he's played in every game. All right, after missing some time last year. Jacoby Brissett has 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 picks in 5 games. Trevor Lawrence is very much like, and this is no disrespect, like what we likely saw from Kyler in terms of like, maybe this doesn't fit the scheme, but they're making it work with the contract and everything. I think Kyler's more dynamic, certainly. And Kyler doesn't throw the amount of interceptions that Trevor Lawrence does either. They are winning because their schedule, and also that they've, like, Travis Etienne looks like the real deal. They've got an offensive play caller that has got some mojo, and then their defensive line, Josh Allen and Armstead, they've got some, Trayvon Walker's no scrub. Like, they've got some defensive linemen that can get after people. So I'm coming at it from a mindset where, like, you have to get out to a position where you're making Trevor Lawrence feel uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to win. Was Brock Purdy unbelievable last week? Because he sat in the pocket and didn't have a lot of pressure in his face. So
when you did get pressure, he threw it away.
You should have picked him off at least twice.
Should have picked him off for sure. But he's got that. He's got like angels in the outfield case.
That's a perfect comp.
He's got Christopher Lloyd, the ghost, flying down and knocking down a sure-handed pick. Like, Brock Purdy's thrown some of the most interceptable footballs that don't get picked off since he entered the league.
Also, like, he has Kyle Shanahan, like Kittle and McCaffrey. People are just wide open.
Right.
You hear what Ben Johnson said today? Like, I listened to Drew, and this, I don't want to be like hate on Drew the entire show. I listened to Drew talk, and then I listened to like Ben Johnson talk to the media today, and people were like asking Ben about like 50-50 balls. He's like, I hate 50-50 balls. It's basically my job to like scheme players open. And it's just like, why isn't that my life? Why isn't that our life?
Yeah, I love that.
Sometimes
interviewed for the same job. They both interviewed for the same job.
Oh, I forgot about that. It's just like Drew touting 57 garbage time attempts, and then Ben Johnson's like, I'm above 50-50 balls. It's just like, they all play in the same league, but man, we're not playing the same sport every Sunday.
Man, ain't that the truth? We're gonna have to table this Monti stuff. It's too in depth to get.
He was supposed to lead our show today, and then we got Kurt, which was
Kurt was like, I want to talk ball now.
Okay, and then we're like, yes,
got it.
Yes, number 13. So tomorrow we will debut the Monti Ossenfort hierarchy. We're going to go through every hit, every potential miss, free agent hits, busts, and then we're going to decide whether Monti Ossenfort deserves more blame. I'm gonna kind of give a little bit of hint though. While I was putting that together, done a pretty good job.
Oh, that spoils it all. Why would you do that?
I like the players on this team. There ain't no Isaiah Simmons on this team. There isn't no Bust Dirt McGirt, Robert Kimdichie on this team. It's like, oh yeah, all these guys are going to finish their contracts, and some of them are going to get extended.
Yeah.
It's like, does he need more hits? No doubt about it. But like, injuries aside this year, this draft class, how would you grade it so far? Like, just based on the talent that they acquired, how would you grade it?
I would give them a B.
Oh, based on the talent that they got? Not the production yet.
I think like that you're getting snaps all the way down to your 7th round pick. I think that's solid.
Yeah, I would give it an A.
No.
A- for sure.
What'd you say, Noah?
A-.
We barely
definitely an A.
Oh, based on talent, sure.
They can all play.
Yeah. Okay.
Like they've missed some time. That sucks.
You got to show me more, and I think like that's the entire like the what I would say like when you look from the 23 class to the 24 class to the 25 class.
Probably a B overall.
You need these guys to break through and be undeniably like impact players.
Walter Nolan,
looks
elite.
Yeah, I'm just tired of giving grades on like projections. I need to see something.
No, I think it's more so It's weird and stupid. And we do it, and we'll do it again to grade drafts after the draft. But like Shamar Stewart's PFF grade today, I looked it up. It's 35
for the season.
Yeah, he's terrible. He can't play.
I'm a tougher grader. I have a higher organizational standard than you guys do.
I like this from T. Clearly. Potential A, productivity B. I think you could go anywhere between like B plus, A minus. That's fair. But like Denzel Burke has 2 interceptions. Looks like somebody who could start for you. Keaton Crawford, I think, may start next year.
Yeah.
And then Cody Simon starting. Jordan Birch, has probably been the most disappointing just because he hadn't had any juice yet. But like Walter and Will Johnson, is that the best 1-2 in the entire NFL for this draft class? Like, who would you rather have? I mean, we'll go through that a different day, but like,
yeah,
if you polled every NFL team and said you can have Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, or whatever combination from other teams, I don't know, man. I get it. It's been 4 games.
Abdul Carter's Cam Scattaboo there, and Jackson Dart.
I would, Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter. Scat's not included in there. Hang on, this is bad podcast.
He got so mad that I brought up his boy.
He was on Raw last night. All right. Not Travis Hunter with the Jags.
Right.
Not Cam Ward. Will Campbell's been good for New England with Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
That's been good. But then you also think about like Cardinals got a D tackle and a corner. So I'm like, hey, off-ball linebacker, whoopee.
Yeah.
All right. How about this? Who did Tampa draft in the second round? They got what's his name in the first round? Ibuka. Right. Who'd they get in the second?
Let's take a look. Tampa, all the way down here. Benjamin Morrison. I haven't heard much from the local products. Let's see.
Not familiar.
7 games. He's barely done anything.
Zabel for Seahawks. Zabel and that safety they got. Gosh darn it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe top 5
for the Cardinals. Yeah.
With a ceiling, with a lot of room left to the ceiling.
Corner guard, D tackle corner, or safety guard, excuse me. I mean, who would you rather have, Bo? Let me ask you this. Colts, Tyler Warren. I don't know who they took in the second. Who would you rather have? Dolphins have Kenneth Grant or Walter Nolan? I haven't heard Kenneth Grant's name one time this year.
The Colts took Tiamolau of Ohio State. That was their second pick. Has he done much?
I don't think so.
Looks like he's playing primarily teams.
So, I mean, it's a good exercise.
Yeah.
This draft class, I think, saved Monti Ossenfort's ass because last year's, with the volume that you had, it's been a little underwhelming. But we're going to save that conversation for tomorrow. Again, we could talk about it ad nauseum. Noah's made some banger graphics. We're going to break it down. Let's first jump in to these super chats. A very generous $20 from T. Cleary, member here on PHNX Cardinals. You guys are elite. Thanks for your commitment. Disappointing season, but true fans and this community are grateful for the coverage. That's awesome. That's the kind of comment makes our day.
It does. This is it's why we put in the effort that we do. It's because we're fans just like you. We crave similar. We want this type of content for ourselves, and we appreciate when somebody else likes it as much as you do. What you guys, you make it worth it. It's unbelievable. So thank you so much. $20. That's unreal. How about Ben, the Cardinals fan, jumping in? $2. They'll get a tight end coach from Brock State to be the OC. It's a great university.
I didn't get in. I couldn't get into Brock State.
I got in.
Yeah, no, it declined. Alphonse, $199. If no one has been fired by now, it's not happening. Correct. And that also tells you that Jonathan Gannon doesn't have any pressure to fire anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about on the post-game show before tipped off on this situation. Don't you think if he was being pressured to, if it's like, hey, you could lose your job in January, you better light a spark, change something.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? That's not happening. Why is that? Because he's got no pressure to do anything.
Yeah. BB State, their rivals. Alphonse, $199 or too much sauce. $2. Should we bring back Cliff Kingsbury?
Cliff's having a tough year.
The Commanders.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
We all knew Jaden Daniels, like that style of play. It was going to be tough for him to maintain that. He ran a lot, and he's slight. And then Cliff, I thought last year really did feel like an anomaly for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing a victory lap. I like Cliff. He's been good to this show, but I think Cliff's going to be a consistent offensive coordinator in the NFL. I think it would be a mistake to hire him as a head coach.
Agreed. I think there's just some guys that are cut out to be coordinators.
He's a great coordinator, and he's being paid handsomely by the Cardinals. And I think he doesn't. I don't know if he wants the responsibility of running another team.
But it's not a work ethic thing too. He was there, maybe even earlier than JG.
His dad was in the military. Great guy. Just didn't work out.
Alphonse back here, 199. They don't have a staff to develop a quarterback.
Not on the staff right now, Alphonse. And that's not a shot at Gannon. Gannon's a defensive head coach. You giving Drew Petzing the 10th pick in the draft? No.
I don't think so. Desert Vulture, $2. $5. Sorry to discount that. If Bidwill wants to shake up the NFC West, steal an NFC West coordinator like Mike LaFleur, that'll get fans' attention and pay him. Hopefully I read that correctly. There was a lot of caps locks
I like it
in there. I probably should have yelled a little bit more, but what do you think about that?
I like it. Assuming you can't get Dable or Stefanski, then yes, go and steal Kevin O'Connell, a high-level coordinator in waiting. I don't know if you're going to be outright.
You're not going to get Kevin. I mean, I don't know who you meant by Kevin O'Connell, but
from his staff, somebody from his staff.
Got it.
I would just say a guy get an O'Connell, LaFleur, get one of these, not a Slappy, get somebody who's part of a good operation to come in here and try to emulate that. I'm with you, but I mean, McVay.
Now, Desert Vulture, you can answer without having a super chat. I'm on another chat here, but you mean just steal coordinator and make that as a
lateral move?
Lateral move.
I don't think they would do that just because they have a better spot than the Cardinals right now, but who knows?
Alphonse, $4.99. K1 dead cap for 26 is $58 million. For 27, it's $7 million. What are they doing? Doesn't make sense. Why not run it back with new staff, then move on in 27 if need be?
Michael Bidwill is choosing Monti Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon over Kyler Murray. Monti Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon are made men with Michael Bidwill. They want to see their vision through. I'm sure there were multiple conversations upon their commitment to the Cardinals in 2023 that, hey, we're going to make this work. And if not, we'll have time. So Kyler Murray with another staff is not possible here. I think the only way that maybe happens in some rendition is if they have to keep him because they can't trade him. But then somebody brought this up on Twitter. I don't know, it was Benjamin Garcia or somebody else. I liked the point. Do not cut him, keep him, pay him. And then if somebody goes down, then you can trade him. I would force the issue with, I'm not gifting a top 15, 20 quarterback to the open market when you don't have something to replace him. I'm going to praise Monti Ossenfort a lot tomorrow. That'd be the quickest way to lose me. I'm not a fan of that approach at all.
They're going to have to move fast. I mean, if it lingers beyond the 5th day of the new league year and the 2027 guarantees get guaranteed, actually, if the 2027 money becomes guaranteed, then you've got even a tougher task in moving that contract. And it's the contract. If it was just the quarterback and his skill set, they would have a bunch of takers for Kyler Murray.
Right.
But
I think
you've got to figure out a way to move that deal. You're probably working and crunching numbers and figuring out destinations and setting up parameters. You got to do that because you have to be able to get it done by March 15th. Because if you don't, then your chances of dealing him and trading him are probably close to zero. And then he's just sitting on your roster and everybody knows he's not going to play. That becomes a bigger headache.
When Matthew Stafford was traded to the Rams, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Do you know when that trade happened?
I mean, I know he was flying to Cabo with McVay before, like they made the deal and they were getting on the plane together. So it was a little strange, right?
The deal was made January 31st in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Not February, not March, January. Rams send 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff to the Lions for quarterback Matthew Stafford, January 31st, 2021. And the league's like, yeah, we'll get some juice before the Super Bowl. Let's do this. And then we won't make it official. That is the dream right there. Is it like the season's over for you and I, second week of January, and then like 2 weeks later, Kyler Murray, we have resolution on that? I think that's realistic. It's the quarterback. It's the most important position.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Chandler Jones being traded or DeAndre Hopkins in March. Like, I don't think it's one of those things, and I could be wrong, where it's like, hey, the floodgates have opened. It's the new league year, tampering period, blah, blah, blah. I think you try to get it done before free agency. And the league, they love that kind of juice.
Yeah. I think a lot of teams are going to have the cap flexibility to do it. What you're expected and what you should have allocated for paying a quarterback this day and age, you should have that type of money. It's not taking on the entirety of the deal, but it's in 2026, that team that takes on $37 million of Kyler Murray money. So it just makes it tough. But you get past that 15th of March, it becomes even tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't post-date June 1st trades either.
No.
Can't do that.
Cardinals have to take their medicine with the money. If they can get a top 100 draft pick in the process, I think that's a win for them.
What are the chances they have a plan right now?
I would say high.
You do think they have a plan in place for Kyler and then post-Kyler?
I don't know about post-Kyler. I think the goal is to trade Kyler as fast as possible in the offseason. I'm going to float something out there. Okay. They did not trade him at the deadline. Does anybody believe that they tried to trade him at the deadline? I do.
Yeah, I think they picked up the phone.
I think it was too difficult for a receiving team to navigate the money and the learning curve and the suitors. But I think you are incorrect if you believe that they did not make calls at the trade deadline for Kyler Murray. And so if that's the mindset in October, I think right now it's like, if you're Monti Ossenfort, what is your priority right now other than scouting college football? Looking for my next offensive coordinator, looking for Kyler Murray's suitor, and looking for my 2026 quarterback. Like that's the big on your wish list ahead of Christmas. Those are your big three. Nothing else matters. No running back from Missouri State in the 5th round matter. Like your draft class next year, I think pales in comparison to those items first.
Yeah. Bo Bidwill, Kyler is their fall guy. He falls and they survive. I don't think they needed him to take the fall for them to survive.
I agree with that. I think the minute that the gaming clause was put in the contract and you could kind of see that Michael Bidwill didn't trust Kyler Murray, I think it was always like, we're committing to him, but we're still kind of dating him. We're not married to him. And I think Michael Bidwill is in lockstep with Ossenfort and Gannon. I know that. I don't think that. And I think that what happened this year was not an accident with him being placed on IR. He's healthy, and he's getting healthy for his next team. And you know what, Bo? I think he's happy I think he's excited about that. Like, I think this is run its course. The team
Yeah.
is not competing. The team would not be winning respectfully even if he was out there. I think for Kyler Murray, it's like, okay, get healthy. You're still under 30 years old. You're going to get a fresh start somewhere else. And I think he'll work with the team to facilitate a deal. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. Alphonse is back. 199. Thank you for all your super chats today, mate.
Thank you.
Didn't this regime draft Tune? Dear God. What they've done as far as the moves, as far as quarterbacks go, there's nothing that you would say, hey, that was solid. I think bringing in Jacoby as the backup was a good move.
The Dobbs trade was good, but you should have just signed him in free agency.
Right. That was a misstep. So it took that from being, overall a net positive. But like Tune and then the Desmond Ridder thing, that was bad. And then like the handling of McCoy.
Horrendous.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to fault the team for missing on a 5th round quarterback.
My only hope is that Monti Ossenfort has shown you with defensive linemen, corners, and an offensive tackle, premium positions, that he can scout those pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Walter Nolan looks good. Will Johnson, Max Melton, Garrett Williams, Paris Johnson Jr. I mean, like, B.J. Ojulari can flip and play. His knees exploded. Like, that is what it is. Like, he had a sack on a 2-point conversion. He has ability.
Yeah.
So, like, if you just want to say, like, can he identify a quarterback with traits that will translate? I feel okay about it. I don't feel great about it. But I also know, like, Marv's development has been hampered by Drew Petzing. I know, like, Michael Wilson's development has been hampered by this offense. So, like, that's a big part of this, Bo, is like, you take Nussmeier, you take one of these guys, develop him. Like, who's working with him? Drew?
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Nussmeier. No, thanks. I'm out on Nussmeier.
You're in.
Nussmeier in 5th round.
Second. I think, it's the hardest. Alphonse is the hardest position to draft. And there's got to be guys worth drafting.
Yeah.
I
see all these organizations having fun with their young quarterbacks from, I know Denver, you're riding that roller coaster, but overall it's been fun. We mentioned Washington still. It feels like, Daniels is the guy. Even, Caleb Williams redeeming himself this season has been, good for that franchise. Drake May, like those are some big time players. Jackson Dart, limited time we've seen him so far.
Can I just say, this franchise is due to hit on a quarterback in the draft. And like, remember Kurt, what he said about Andy Dalton, like, don't kill me for this. I think this team could support a rookie quarterback and win with the right offensive coordinator. The talent is on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a quarterback is going to come on this team, assuming they get a right tackle,
and
have their brains beat in. Like, I think they could flourish with a game manager rookie quarterback next year if he's the right guy. A second, like, that's why I love Sam Levitt in the 2nd round. I don't think he's going to come out now, but like a guy like that where it's like
Sam Levitt,
he
hasn't been a big topic of conversation today.
I mean, we assume they're going to get another running back. They're going to fix their own line. They have like Michael Wilson, Marv, and Trey. That suddenly looks very formidable.
Right.
I mean, like, I think you could get kind of an orchestrator and have them come in. I mean, but like, that's where the Cardinals need to get their act together, like defensively. It's like, guys, play better on defense so we can feel good about that side.
Yeah. Lamar Washington, $5. Do you keep James Conner or do you trade him?
Jonathan Gannon loves James Conner. I think every time I'm like, they're going to get rid of a guy because of a contract, they keep him. Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols. Conner's contract is very team friendly. He doesn't have any dead money, though, if you cut him. My question is, like, if you cut James Conner, like, who's starting for you? Trey Benson?
Right.
Trey Benson's proven nothing. He's not as good as James Conner when he's healthy. So
I think we're going to get a sense of Trey Benson at the end of the year.
I would keep James Conner. I'm going to get hate for this. I would probably keep James Conner over Budda Baker at this point.
Yeah, you're probably not going to have to make that decision.
No, I think Budda will be on the team.
Yeah. So the Cardinals made 3 roster cuts today. I think 2 of them were on the active roster. They've got 51 spots filled on the roster, so 2 open. One of them was punter, Pat O'Donnell.
Yeah, he stinks.
Thank you for your service. Blake Gillikin, you would assume, is going to come back.
Please, God.
And so we'll see with Amari Dermacado going down, according to Adam Schefter, they have 2 warm bodies in the active roster and 1 Jamar Jefferson on the practice squad. So they're either going to have to add a running back, or we'll see what Trey Benson's status is, because his window opened tomorrow morning.
They need him. I don't love him, but they need him.
Yeah, you're down on Trey Benson, which I think is...
He's never done anything. Do something.
He's been behind James Conner.
Okay, beat him out. Do something. Let's give guys just years and years.
James Conner went over 1,000 yards last year. He was like the focal point of their offense.
The first chance Trey Benson got to succeed James Conner and take this ball and run with it, he got hurt. I don't love that.
T-Vato, $2. Can Bo ask JG if they're lacking fire in the gut?
Yeah, ask him, Bo.
Pass. Thank you for your...
Wait, does Bo want his ass beat? Is that what you're asking?
JG, do you have fire in your gut? Leave. Revoke his credential. Ben the Cardinals fan, $2. Hollywood Smothers from NC State could be a good running back.
I like that name, Hollywood Smothers. That reminds me of Smithers from The Simpsons.
Hello, Smithers. Yeah, Montgomery Burns, right-hand man. Hollywood Smothers is a great name. I'll tell you what, I haven't watched one Wolfpack game this year, so I don't know.
You know who's a big NC State fan? Steve Keim. I want some dogs this offseason. I feel like we say that a lot. You added 2 on the defensive side, Walter and Will.
Dingo. Cam Scatteraboo better than Benson. It's like Johnny's whole crutch of his argument is Benson got hurt and poor Cam Scatteraboo also got hurt. You're gonna be as ruthless with your boy Cam Scatteraboo?
No, because he was really good before he got hurt. He was gonna have 20 touchdowns this year, bro. Also, Cam's all right. Let me ask you this. Cam, when people thought his season was over, was on Raw last night wrestling.
Yeah.
Trey Benson with a little meniscus tear. Where's he at? He's not.
Where are you at? What? Yeah. Are you working with AEW or anything? What's going on?
Why isn't Trey Benson on Raw? I think we know that there was a point in that I saw that clip online. I lost it. They had some standoff between some podcasting guy and one of the wrestlers. And then you just see this hand come over and it's Scat emerge from the crowd, and the crowd erupts. And it's it almost looked like Scat couldn't keep a straight face. It was insane. He has, I'll tell you what, he's going a little hard on the grill and the jewelry. Yeah. I'm a little worried about that. It's just he's just leaning into it fully.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
You do. You've maintained that. Our guy Anthony Totri reported that Scat's going to be at the Territorial Cup. Also, he's keeping you up on that Sam Levitt saga.
He's everywhere.
You think Levitt's gone, Johnny?
No.
You don't think he's leaving?
No. Why would he leave?
For a paycheck, a big payday?
Why can't ASU pay him?
You're going to have to.
The guy who's starting right now that's playing well, he's a senior, right?
He's like an 8th-year senior. He's your age.
I don't think Sam Levitt's leaving.
I mean, I don't think he's going to the draft, but I don't think it's a lock that he's going to stay in AZ.
Doesn't loyalty mean anything, Sam? Remember when the Sun Devils had Jaden Daniels and he looked awful, and then he went to LSU and he was the best QB ever?
Yeah, it was Herm Edwards.
Yeah.
All right, we've gone off the rails. Tomorrow, we get into a full breakdown with our guy Baldy. Brian Baldinger is going to break things down, but also we're going to get to that Monti Ossenfort discussion. We've got the sick graphics. They're going to back up kind of the whole resume of Monti Ossenfort, the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals. Does he have a leg to stand on? Does he have a reason to stay? We'll make that definitive answer tomorrow. Don't miss out on it. We're going to be at the Cardinals facility all day tomorrow. Talk to Brissett. We'll see if Marv is around. We'll get some updates on some injured players, maybe whose practice windows are open. Get into all of that. Make sure you're following along at PHNX_Cardinals, at Bo Brack, and at Johnny Venerable. What's up, Johnny?
I didn't say anything.
All right. You had a smirk. I don't know. For Noah and Johnny, I'm Bo. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. PHNX Cardinals.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
We all silly like the mayor.